Okay, so I'm back again. I've just bought my oils and lye solution to emulsification. I've blended it for 5 seconds only. I have my colours here. I'm doing a tilted wall pour for part of this and a solid colour for the rest. So for my red, I've got a mixture of bright red mica from Tranquil Scents and red synthetic mica from Bath Bomb World. My white, because I don't want to over blend, I'm actually trying whiter than white glacier mica instead of titanium dioxide. I have no idea whether this is going to work or not, because I know titanium dioxide has to be blended, whereas mica I can just stir in with my spatula. So we'll see how that goes. My green is synthetic green mica from Bath Bomb World. So I'll just pour off these 3 and then I'll put the rest of my soap batter aside. I'm hoping this will stay nice and fluid for me to be able to do what I want. And then I'll put that aside. So give each of these a good stir. Whoops, try not to splash it. That's why we wear goggles. I'm quite messy. I try not to be, but let's see if this goes white. It is going white. Maybe not as white as titanium dioxide would do, but I don't want it to go thick, so that will do. Just get my mould. So my long, tall, skinny mould, and because I'm doing a tilted wall pour, I've got my stainless steel bench and I've got these little containers that actually stick. They've got a magnet on the back, so I put those on the bench and they should stay in place so that I can do my tilted pour. So each of these I'll just make a little spout and hope they stay fluid long enough for what I want to do. We'll see how we go. My batter today has been thickening up faster than what I would like. Every day is different, even though I prepare everything the same way each time. I think sometimes the temperature of the day has something to do with it. So far so good. Probably shouldn't speak too soon though. So we had my uncle's funeral last week. He was 81, and I got to catch up with a lot of family that I don't get to see very often, which was really good. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with my uncle before he died. He was quite sick when I went to see him. So hopefully he's up there now with my dad and they're together again. That would be really good. But when I got home, I decided to Google Pfaffenschlag, which is the town in Austria where my dad and my uncles and aunties were born. So I Googled Pfaffenschlag, and I also Googled my surname, and it came up with a photo of my upa that the Australian government had on record when he was a prisoner of war in Australia. So that was really interesting to me. I knew that he'd been a prisoner of war. I think it's in, I could be wrong, Murchison? I'll have to check where the prisoner of war camp was in Australia where he was held from 1942, I think, to 1945. So there's 2 photos of him on record at the prisoner of war camp. One I think when they first arrived, and one must have been just before they were released. So my cousins actually ordered digital copies of those photos so that we can share them around. So that would be really interesting. I knew he'd been a prisoner of war in Australia. That's how come that side of my family ended up in Australia, because he loved it here so much that when the war was finished, he decided to bring the family back. I love learning, you know, little bits of information about my family. Sorry, I just had a phone call. Oh, this is just about done, these colours. Just clean the edge here. See if I can get that to settle like that, if it will. Now the rest of my batter has gotten quite thick while it was off to the side then, but I think when I add the fragrance oil it will loosen up. So I'll just add my fragrance oil now. So my fragrance oil today is Mrs. Claus's Cookies from Nature's Garden. It's supposed to smell like sugar cookies and buttercream frosting, which it does. It smells absolutely amazing. And I've got some chestnut mica from Bath Bomb World. This has got 10% vanilla, so it's going to discolour really dark, but just to make sure the discoloration is nice and even, I'll add in some chocolate mica. It's loose and dried up now. I've added my fragrance oil. And hopefully that's setting up nicely there. I'll give this a blend with the stick blender and then pour it carefully on top of my bottom layer there. I just love that mica colour. Just looks like something you want to eat. I think I just said that in the last video. This fragrance oil smells delicious and it's got some really good reviews. So hopefully it will suit the stamp I'm putting on. So I'll carefully start pouring that on top of my wall pour. Trying not to dislodge anything too much. Should be right just to pour on top now. Okay, I've banged that one on the ground in case there's any air bubbles in there and to level the top out a little bit. Now I've got some resplendent mica from my Mica Obsession mixed with some olive oil. I'm just going to drizzle it on top. As the stamp I'm using, I'll be using this same mica, so that will tie these colours in. And I'll use my trusty kebab stick just to do a bit of a swirl on top. And hopefully the oil in that mica mix will saponify into the soap, and we'll just be left with the nice mica swirl on top. There we go. I'll bring you down for a closer look, and then I'll see you again tomorrow when we cut this soap and put the stamp on. And this, I think, will be the last of my Christmas soaps for this year. And I'll get on with making a few of my regular batches. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. We have the top here of, which one was this? Naughty Elf, I think. Sorry, a bit early for me. We'll just cut this and see what we've got on the inside. Hopefully you can see the top clearly there. And there's the inside. Turned out how I wanted it, which is always a good thing. These guys are all going to have a stamp on them, so we'll come back shortly and do that, and then they'll be off to the curing rack. Here's the top. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, the final step in making this soap is to put a soap stamp on. I just tap my stamp in some mica powder, and in this case I'm using this Naughty Elf, and put him on the front there, gently rock him in all directions without pushing too hard. And there he is, cheeky elf. And also I forgot to show you that using the white mica, what was it called? Whiter Than White Glacier Mica from Bath Bomb World in my white portion here did seem to work quite well. So something to think about if you're wanting to not have to over blend with titanium dioxide. Anyway, that's the finished little elf there, the gold top. And thanks again for joining me, and I will catch you on the next one.